Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer welcomes you to our biggest clearance sale of the year, the Happy Honda Days sales event. Get year-end clearance pricing on over 900 new Hondas, plus a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Honda. Save thousands on your new Honda right here at Team Honda.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome to our final edition this week of the Clarence Bug Show. Obviously a short week because of Thanksgiving. We start today's show talking about the number of people that are expected against some agencies' recommendations to travel for Thanksgiving. And as is always the case when we talk travel, we go to the expert, our go-to guy, a friend of the show and a long-time travel aficionado. Of course, by now, everybody knows we're talking about Don Redman, Public Affairs Specialist for AAA out of the Metairie office. Don, good morning, and how are you, my friend?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
So how many Americans is AAA forecasting will travel by car for the Thanksgiving holiday?
We're talking about 95% of everyone who's traveling is going to be traveling by car.
Okay.
So you're looking at an overall total amount of travelers about 50 million are going to be traveling for it. 95% of those will be traveling by vehicle.
You know, with COVID-19 and all that's going on and the restrictions and the lockdowns and the like, that number to we lay people sounds huge. Did that number surprise you any, Don?
Well, it didn't surprise me in the fact that we saw hints of this summer. We saw a decrease of people traveling for the summer. We're off about 10% from where we were this time last year. About 5.5 million fewer travelers this year compared to last year. And it's largely because of COVID as well as some financial concern. You know, people losing their jobs or concerned about their jobs is keeping people from traveling this holiday. I think the recent announcement by CDC essentially begging people not to travel for Thanksgiving may even further dent those numbers of those overall who are traveling.
So for this millions of folks that are going to be traveling by car, what does our gasoline supply look like as far as availability and prices are concerned, Don?
Yeah, we're in pretty good shape for gasoline. In fact, it's the cheapest that we've seen this time of the year for quite some time. We're about 40 cents cheaper than we were this time last year. They've been holding steady on the average about $1.84, but I know your listeners know of stations that offer gas prices much cheaper.
As we look at this number of millions, tens of millions of Americans expected to travel by car for the Thanksgiving holiday, can we expect a bump in prices? I mean, conventional supply and demand theories say that an increase in demand results in an increase in price. Are we looking potentially at a bump in prices later on because of all these folks traveling by car?
Yeah, I'm sure all your listeners have experienced the holiday travel gas bump.
Right.
And certainly there will be a bump in prices. We're certainly not expecting a spike or anything like that, but you may see increases anywhere from 2 to 5 cents more until we get past the holiday.
I've got to imagine that additional masks and hand sanitizers are going to be a, quote, must-have in your car as you travel, because you're going to be handling gasoline pumps, you're going to be stopping in stores that are not in your city, and you're handling items and the like. That's almost a must-have to the car kit that all of us have these days, correct?
Correct. We recommend that if you're traveling on the road to have your mask with you, your hand sanitizer, even sanitary wipes, disinfectant wipes to wipe down the pump handle or those things. Limit the stops at the gas stations. Maybe pack your own lunch if you're going for a long distance rather than going into a restaurant or anything like that. So, yeah, it's just because you're traveling doesn't mean COVID has disappeared. So you really have to maintain those precautions wherever you're going.
I was surprised when I saw the number of folks that flew by air this past weekend. What is the forecast there, and are there any tips in particular that air travelers need to be concerned with, Don?
Well, the airline industry is really taking a hit for COVID. We're talking about the projections of those who are traveling by air to be down almost 50%. But don't fool yourself. If you're flying and you haven't caught your flight yet, don't think you're going to be on an empty airplane. There may be fewer flights. They're going to pack those airplanes. They're also going to require you to wear a mask the entire time you're in the airport, as well as the entire time you're on the airplane itself. So understand that you will be in a tight setting in an airplane, and you will be required to wear a mask the entire time.
And I would imagine that it would only be prudent if you are traveling out of state that you make yourself fully aware of whatever quarantine restrictions may be involved in your ultimate point of destination.
That's a great point, Clarence. Yeah, you really need, before you leave, to see what kind of restrictions are being placed in your destination. And you don't want to get in a situation and suddenly find out that you got to do a 14-day quarantine, but you only have a 7-day vacation. So make sure what those rules are going to be in the destination you're going to.
I would certainly be remiss in my duties, Don, if I did not inquire about the status of yourself and your staff as we've gone through COVID. Is everyone in the AAA office there in Metairie doing okay?
Yeah, we've done well. We've obviously some of our lines, our travel agency has been kind of quiet, but everyone in terms of staying safe and our members staying safe that come into the office, we try to encourage them to go online as much as possible. But we have really been very fortunate, very blessed during this period.
Well, my friend, if I do not talk with you anymore during this holiday period, we'd like to take the opportunity to wish you and yours and your staff as well a very happy and a safe Thanksgiving. We appreciate you as always, Don Redman.
Thank you, Clarence. Appreciate it. Same to you.
You're quite welcome, sir. Don Redman is one of those guys that is always accessible, always available anytime we call. And it seems as though it's been much longer than 22 years that he's been affiliated with AAA. For some reason, I was thinking it was more like 30. But he told me this morning he's been there 22 years now, and his plans are to continue to soldier on. Don Redman, Public Affairs Specialist with AAA. For those of you that will be traveling, as Don mentioned, just because you leave and go to a different locale does not mean COVID-19 is not going to be where you go. It's everywhere, not just in America, but all over the globe. And I'll be quite frank with you, I was surprised when the airline industry announced this past weekend that 3 million people traveled to a different destination by air this past weekend. Attribute it to whatever you will. COVID-19 fatigue is probably the most obvious reason that most people would look at it in this fashion. And of course, Thanksgiving is such a deeply embedded holiday in America. It is one of those times where family takes on added significance, friends take on additional significance as far as the importance in our lives. So I'm not going to be the one to tell folks not to travel. All I can do is give you information, the likes of Don Redman and others, and hopefully you will take that information and use it to your benefit as well as the benefit of our fellow Americans. It is hopeful that those that want to take the vaccine will be able to do so as soon as possible. But until then, the threat is still there. As you well know, Governor John Bel Edwards coming out yesterday saying that we are going to revert to a modified phase 2, and we will talk about this a little later on in the show. It is something that by now, if you've not become accustomed to, acclimated to, then that is what that is. It is something that's going to be with us a while, and while we will get into the holiday spirit and mood starting today, at the latest tomorrow, it is still something that can affect millions of our fellow Americans. And, you know, I don't want to be that guy that everybody ends up pointing to. Well, we would be a lot better off if, you know, so-and-so didn't do such and such a thing. This is still America. And I am still one of those that subscribes to the opinion that personal responsibility should always be the order of the day. That is, whether you're at work, whether you're at home, your civic engagement, COVID-19, whatever. Personal responsibility should always be the rule of the day. If we as individuals adhered to that, I'm a firm believer that everything else would take care of itself. It's only when individuals are not as responsible as they can be or should be that other people end up suffering as a result of it. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching because, again, we're all adults here. And at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. Sad thing is we now live in a world where it's no longer just you. We are more interconnected these days than ever. And in this particular case, biologically or pandemically speaking, we are more connected than ever. Hopefully, you'll take the information, and as always, I plead that you govern yourselves accordingly. Speaking of the holidays, it's that time, and you know, unfortunately, the scammers, they are licking their chops trying to separate you from your hard-earned money. Scam alert. That's coming up after we take our first break of today's show on the Clarence Buggs Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I've seen a lot of things during my life, more bad things than good. I've lived in a lot of places, but never a home. I don't think anybody cares about me anymore. And now I'm tired. Signed, Brian, age 11.
Abused and neglected children in East Baton Rouge Parish are in dire need of CASA volunteers. Please call 379-8598 today. Change a life of hurt into a life of hope.
Get 0.9% financing for 60 months on every new 21 Mazda, plus 90 days deferred payments during the season of inspiration at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
By all standards, he is a champion for consumers. Because of Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta, our utility rates are 35% less than the national average, the lowest in all of America. He saved ratepayers over $8 billion. Commissioner Scrametta brought us more reliable power plants and energy-efficient solar fields. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta. Keep the commissioner who keeps our rates low.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bud Show. One of the things about this time of year is that it signals the start of the holidays. And of course, that means lights, it means family, it means great meals, it means inner reflection as the year starts to come to a close of how fortunate we are in our lives here in America. Unfortunately, you know what that also means? Yep, the scammers are out in full effect. And this year, sadly, it's no different. As a matter of fact, it may be even worse this year because of lockdowns, more folks online, more accessibility, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. So when we talk scams, there's no better person to talk to than a dear friend of the show, Carmen Million, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of South Central Louisiana. Carmen, good morning, and how are you today?
Good morning, Clarence. I'm doing well.
You all have been so busy at the B.B.B. keeping us abreast of all the scams that are going around in circulation. Let's start with the COVID clinical study scams. What's that all about, Carmen?
Well, it's basically where a consumer will receive an unsolicited message, whether it's through text, email, or some sort of social media, and it tells you that you could qualify for a COVID-19 study. And what's really catching people's attention is they're telling you that they could pay you to do this. And so who doesn't need money at this time of the year? and then, because there are people that are jobless. And so it's a great incentive for them that they're going to be told that they're going to be paid. And we actually know this is a scam, that you're not going to get paid to do this COVID-19 study.
So if that is the case, my next question was going to be, how do we protect ourselves? So I guess logical process of deduction would say know up front that it's a scam and don't get involved.
Well, yeah, anytime an offer sounds too good to be true, warning bells should be going off, and that's your first sign of caution right there. But if you receive, say, an email or something like that, a text, you need to look up the domain. You need to investigate it before you get involved. You need to find out who does the clinical trials, and we know that there is one, the National Institute for Health, and they have a site called clinicaltrials.gov, and it is a place where you can search the site and see if it's really legitimate. But never pay to be part of a clinical trial. You shouldn't have to pay money up front, and anytime they ask for personal financial information, that's another sign of caution, which is what these scammers are doing.
Speaking of scammers, obviously holiday shopping takes on a whole new approach this year, with more and more of it shifting online. What do we need to watch out for as far as holiday shopping scams are concerned, Carmen?
Look, you need to understand that if you receive a pop-up or you receive something, whether it's an offer, whether it's for a holiday market, whatever the case may be, before you click on that link or that pop-up, you need to investigate it and understand what the rules are. So let's say they're telling you that they have an offer of a great product. You need to investigate that company. You need to investigate that link, and you can do that by going to the Better Business Bureau. Some of the warning signs is if they're asking for personal information, or if they're asking for money up front, fees. Those are warning signs, and you should never, ever give personal financial information to somebody you really don't know. And you really need to plan out your shopping and make sure that you know the sites that you're going to be shopping on are accurate or good or legitimate sites before you click on those links.
And I've got to imagine it may not be a bad idea to be sure that you monitor your kids' online activities, particularly when it comes to making purchases online.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a good opportunity for a scammer to take advantage of you. And so you want to make sure you monitor what your kids are, what sites your kids are on. There are so many options for parents to protect their kids from clicking on something that may release a virus or steal their identity. So you need to be vigilant and protect not only yourself but your kids' information.
The Better Business Bureau of South Central Louisiana recently sent out an email cautioning us about door-to-door salespeople, saying that you all have received complaints about this. What have those complaints centered around, Carmen?
Well, it's something that happens every year. Whether it's a contractor or it's somebody trying to sell you a security system, or they're trying to upgrade your TV information, they will imply that they are involved with a particular industry or particular company. And what we want consumers to understand is you should be your first line of defense. You have to protect yourself. So if somebody's knocking on your door and they're making you an offer, first of all, don't let them in your house. You don't know who they are. You need to ask them for identification. Tell them that if you're interested, you will call them. Understand that in this parish and city, that if somebody is going to go door to door, they have to have a permit to solicit. So if they are soliciting without that permit, then they're doing so illegally. But we don't know if they're casing the house. We don't know if they're really trying to sell you something, or if they're trying to dupe you into signing a contract by misleading you. It doesn't really matter. If somebody's knocking on your door, don't let them in your home. If you may be interested in their offer, then get their information and tell them that you're going to check with the Better Business Bureau and the local authorities. The other thing is you don't want to just, shut the door and leave it at that. You need to call the local sheriff's department or police department and tell them that somebody is canvassing the area. Not only are you protecting yourself, but you may be protecting an elderly neighbor that is not, that savvy to investigate.
And and speaking quite frankly, Carmen, these people are really good at what they do. I mean, they can be as persuasive as all get out. And this time of year, people start getting in the holiday spirit. They want to think the best of people. They don't want to automatically assume the worst. But we've got to understand something here. These folks are experts at what they do in separating us from our money. So, and I guess what I'm trying to get to here, is there any such thing as being too cautious?
Not today. In fact, you have to protect yourself. And what we find when we talk to people who have been scammed, in most cases, it's people that can least afford to be scammed. And if they get involved in something, they will, in most cases, not get their money back. So you cannot be too cautious. And this is the reality. If you are checking on this company and investigating this company, you are not only protecting yourself, but if the company is legitimate, you're protecting them. The thing is you can't be too cautious. You have to protect yourself. And again, if the deal sounds too good to be true, it generally is.
Finally, Carmen, against the recommendations of some agencies and entities, millions of Americans are expected to travel for the Thanksgiving holiday. Any tips that the B.B.B. has to pass along to those folks?
Look, it's the same as anything else. Be vigilant, protect yourself, stay the 6 feet, wear a mask. If you're going to make plans to travel, if you're flying or taking a bus, you need to make sure that you know your rights. If for some reason something happens and you have to cancel at the last minute, we always advise that you consider taking out insurance, travel insurance, in case something does happen. So you really want to do your homework, understand what the policies, whether they're refunds or credits for those particular entities are going to be if you do have to cancel. But you need to make sure that you understand each state's rules, because if you're flying from one state to another, they may have different policies in place. So you need to do all of your homework before you make those travel plans.
Great information, as always, Carmen Million. On behalf of a very grateful public, we thank you for the service to our community. And if we don't have the opportunity to talk to you again, we'd like to take the opportunity to wish you and yours a very merry, safe, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Same to you, Clarence.
Thank you, Carmen. Carmen Million is the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of South Central Louisiana. Listen, y'all, there's no such thing as being too cautious these days. And nothing can ruin a holiday like being caught in a scam. Holidays should be things that you remember only because of the wonderful time that you had, only because of the new friendships, the new relationships that you forged. It shouldn't be that you remember Thanksgiving 2020, especially because, oh man, that was the year I got scammed. Now more than ever, as Carmen Million said, you are your own first line of defense. And for God's sake, y'all, listen, I understand I've been scammed before. So I understand full well the embarrassment that you feel. I understand the betrayal that you feel behind it all. If, in fact, it should happen to you, I cannot stress enough how important it is to report it first to law enforcement, secondly, to the Better Business Bureau. That way, we can get these folks off our streets and out of our society. If nothing else, think of it as doing a public service. And it may not erase all the embarrassment the hurt, the betrayal, but it'll make it a little easier knowing you helped a fellow American avoid going through the same thing. Bottom of the hour break. I know you thought we would move on in the phases, but we now revert back to a revised, modified, if you will, phase 2. We'll talk about that next on the Clarence Bud Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Masks help us slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up. Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
At Team Toyota, Toyotathon is underway. It's your chance to save during our biggest sale of the year. Get our lowest prices and our lowest payments on every new Toyota. Plus, get a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Toyota. Right now at Team Toyota.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bud Show. I guess by now we have all gotten used to disappointment as we've dealt with the coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever, the pandemic, since its inception and the start of the, quote, lockdowns. We've gone through anticipation of the next phase of reopening happening, only to see it not happen. So I've got to imagine by now most Louisianians, and probably for that matter, most Americans in general, simply take these things as, I don't necessarily want to say a grain of salt, but it's like we now have 50 states of Missouri. You got to show me, the show me state, in case y'all didn't catch the connection there. So yesterday, when Governor John Bel Edwards addressed the state, if you've been keeping up with the numbers in any way, form, or fashion, particularly since this third surge of cases began in Louisiana, you were not surprised in the least when the governor made the announcement that our state will tighten restrictions and go to a revised phase 2. It starts officially today, November 25th, and as has been the case for just about all the other lockdown orders, will remain in effect for 28 days. The revised phase 2 restrictions include, and this is reading from the website of the ABC affiliate here in the capital city, WBRZ Channel 2. Sports events limited to 25% capacity. Restaurants, gyms, casinos, and other non-essential retail is limited to 50% capacity. Churches, places of worship, limited to 75% capacity. Bars can now allow up to 25% capacity indoors, only in parishes where there is a positivity rate below 5%. Parishes with positivity rates higher than 5% can only allow outdoor seating at bars, and there is a maximum cap there of 50 people. Event centers limited to 25%, up to 75% at indoor venues, and up to 75 people rather at indoor venues, and up to 150 at outdoor venues. The mask mandate, well, I don't really need to go there, quote unquote, because you already know that's going to remain in effect. Employers are urged to maximize employees working remotely where possible, meaning work from home. Families are asked to engage in safe activities and not to gather with people from outside of their immediate household. Additionally, the governor's office clarified Tuesday evening that any parish with a positivity rate over 5% as of November 25th will not be allowed to keep bars open for indoor service. The new order will affect many parishes, including the capital city, East Baton Rouge, which were allowed to reopen bars in phase 3, but unfortunately, the positivity rate has not been kept below the 5% threshold. Those parishes affected in that manner will only be allowed to reopen the bars once they fall below the positivity rate for 2 weeks. Governor John Bel Edwards yesterday, in making this announcement, insinuated that schools will remain open after the Thanksgiving break. Whether or not that will be in person or virtual learning will be decisions for local school districts, according to the governor. The number of patients in hospitals so far, which led to this reverting back to a revised phase 2, has surpassed where they were on September 11th, when we first entered phase 3. 703 people hospitalized with the virus at that time. According to state officials, as of yesterday, that number was 1,052. Governor John Bel Edwards, quote, "This surge is worse than the first two. We're seeing strong new case growth." We got to phase 3, and we were all hoping, all right, if we made it this far, hopefully we've gotten this thing down to a science. We'll now progress even further. Didn't work out that way. And quite frankly, to be honest with you, based on the criteria that the governor set in place, based on recommendations from the CDC and others, as I have made my way around the parish, this does not come as a surprise at all. It truly doesn't. Hopefully, we will, again, exercise personal responsibility, govern ourselves accordingly. But if the past is any indicator, don't get your hopes up too high. If all goes according to plan, the most optimistic estimate that I've heard so far is that we could potentially see the distribution of the vaccines for COVID-19, whether that is Moderna, Pfizer, or the most recent one done in conjunction with Oxford University, around December 12th. Marty says he's going to volunteer to line up and be the first one in line to get that first of 2 shots, and I'll be in line right behind Marty, okay? Marty says if I'm not there, y'all go ahead, you can start without me. Yeah, ditto what he said. And for those of you that missed the show yesterday, have been out of the loop, be advised, most of these vaccines, it is not going to be a one and done, where you go get a shot, okay, it's done. No, most of these vaccines will require 2 doses. You take one, and a week or so later, however many days they mandate, you go back for a second one. And there have been some strong side effects associated so far. As a matter of fact, some people are going so far as to say, well, based on what happened to me when I was involved in the clinical trial, you may be advised to take the next day off after you get the second dose, because the body's reaction to it can be pretty strong. Keep all these things in mind as we get closer and closer to that date. And again, govern yourselves accordingly. The LSU community, Baton Rouge and Lafayette communities, and the restaurant community today is mourning the loss of one of the most well-known figures in that regard, in Ruffin Rodrigue Jr., dying unexpectedly overnight. Like his father, Ruffin Rodrigue was an LSU football player. And this is certainly unexpected news. No cause of death revealed as of yet, nor have funeral arrangements been released as of yet. There was a statement issued by the staff at Ruffino's, and it reads, "Ruffino's saddened to announce that our owner and founder, Ruffin Rodrigue Jr., passed away unexpectedly last night. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family during this very difficult time. Ruffino's will remain open today," that's today, "in order to help our guests' Thanksgiving needs, continuing to celebrate life the way Ruffin would have wanted us to." On an SEC phone conference call, LSU coach Ed Orgeron saying yesterday that he was, quote, saying today rather, that he was, quote, crushed when he found out. I understand full well as more and more of America gravitates away from any religious identity. But for those of you that are still members of the community of faith, I don't know the Rodriguez family personally, but I can only imagine that they would be sincerely grateful if you would be so kind as to continue to keep them in both your thoughts and in your prayers. Gone but not forgotten, Ruffin Rodriguez Jr., former LSU football Tiger and restaurateur extraordinaire. He will certainly be missed. No two ways about it. We've got our final break of today's show, breathing down our neck, and I don't want Marty to have to start beating on stuff on the other side of the camera. So we'll take our final break of today's show, come back as usual, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up our final edition for Thanksgiving week of the Clarence Bugg Show here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing, 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back for the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. You want to do that again, Marty? Which one? Okay, thank you kindly, sir. Quick observation. Coming in to do the show today, I understand it's, getting to be last minute time for your Thanksgiving preparations. You may have been able to hear from the ambient noise that it is pouring cats and dogs outside right now. Coming in this morning, you could tell we're getting down to crunch time. Y'all driving like plumb idiots out there. And you know how Louisiana drivers are when it's dry, okay? So add thunderstorms to the mix, and you know what the potential is. Again, nothing ruins a holiday like being scammed by someone, and nothing ruins a holiday like a traffic accident, particularly when it could have so easily been avoided. Listen, y'all, we've come too far to mess around at this point and mar the holiday because, God dog it, I forgot to get the cranberry sauce. And you're doing 80 miles an hour on rain-slicked roads to get a 97-cent can of cranberry sauce, okay? Govern yourselves accordingly. I saw this story this morning, and I guess I was just raised different. You think that as we approach the holidays, with all that we've gone through, with all that we still have to go through, some things would not warrant as radical and extreme a reaction as we give to certain things. Authorities in the city of Baker, Louisiana, small city for those of you not familiar with our geography, a suburb, if you will, of Baton Rouge, its own city, and I say that endearingly. I'm not trying to insult the good folks in Baker. My dear friend, the mayor there, knows how much I love Baker. But they are investigating a shooting last night that resulted in the death of a 21-year-old woman. According to Baker police, the shooting occurred around 5:05 on Weston Avenue and was later reported around 5:30. Officials with the EBR coroner's office confirmed that 21-year-old Michaela Johnson was shot to death during the incident. According to police, it started when a male suspect approached Miss Johnson and accused her of assaulting his friend. After a verbal altercation, police say the man then pulled a firearm and shot Michaela Johnson to death. A suspect, according to Baker police, has been identified but has yet to be apprehended. It goes without saying, if you have any information that can help in solving this crime, please step up and do the right thing. It is another tragic case of a family that should be planning a quiet Thanksgiving meal, a time for inner reflection and giving thanks for whatever your lot in life is. And instead now of planning a Thanksgiving meal, they're planning a funeral. I keep hoping at some point we'll get sick and tired of being sick and tired. I guess only time will tell. Tomorrow is the day that traditionally we have set aside in this country to give thanks. And if you are still inhaling and exhaling, you've got so much to be thankful for. Personally, I am thankful to God above that He has allowed me to stick around this long with all that's going on. And you know, when you get to be a certain point in life, you have the benefit of reflection. You look back at those that started out with you and are no longer here. And it increases your appreciation for things. I'm so thankful to the Pelican Broadcasting family. Alan, Katie, Jonathan, Bert, the guys in the truck and back at the studio that do such an absolutely awesome job giving us the opportunity to reach so many people here in the Bayou State. I am eternally thankful for my dear friend Marty, who Marty puts up with me when nobody else will put up with me, and always has a smile, always has an insightful view on things. And even if we didn't have a working relationship, I would be honored to call him my friend. I learned very early in my broadcast career that there are folks you are obligated to always thank and to look out for and take care of. Engineers, producers, and directors, because they are the ones that make the ship go. They are the ones that will keep you on the air. They are the ones that can make you look good or make you look bad. And like anybody else, I'm human. I may not take the opportunity to say it nearly as much as I should, but it's days like tomorrow when you start thinking about these things that you truly make an effort to say it and not just feel it in your heart. It goes without saying, I am eternally thankful to you, the audience. You all have welcomed us with open arms. All of our family from radio has migrated over to television, and all of you that prior to now were outside of the radio signal that we used to have are now able to tune in. Great folks in New Iberia, folks in Gonzales, folks in Lafayette, folks in New Orleans. I cannot, and listen, it says a lot for a guy who for 40 years has made his living with words. And there aren't words enough, descriptive enough to adequately describe how grateful I am to you for giving us the opportunity. It is the time of year where hopefully, particularly this year, because of all that we have been through, all we are going through, and all we will be up against, that hopefully tomorrow you will take the time, if not tonight, in the quiet of the night, to take stock, not of what you don't have, not of what you've lost, but to take stock of what is truly, truly important and just how truly blessed you really are. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But once again, I give it to you. You're right. America, we're not perfect. But doggone it, from this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there is no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you do realize by now that he loves you, right? And I hope you know, even if it's in the smallest of terms, that I do too. Then again, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. See you Monday. Happy Thanksgiving.